When Marcus Chin walked into Chateau Elysée clutching his Ring camera doorbell in a plastic evidence bag, the restaurant's owner had no idea the footage inside would bankrupt his empire in 48 hours. The black waitress serving coffee that morning didn't know either. But billionaire real estate mogul Richard Sutherland was about to learn that Ring cameras don't care about your net worth, and the internet never forgets. 24 hours earlier, Amara Williams tied her apron at Chateau Elysée, the upscale French restaurant on Fifth Avenue where reservations required 3 months and white tablecloths cost more than rent. At 28, she'd survived culinary school, waitressing diners, perfecting French she'd use here, a stepping stone toward her own place someday. The morning shift was usually quiet. Businessmen nursing espressos, tourists photographing gold-rimmed plates. Simple, predictable, safe. That morning, she noticed a man immediately, not because he sat alone at a four-top, though that was unusual, not because his suit probably cost more than her car, but because of how he looked at her, the way his eyes tracked her across the dining room like she was something stuck to his shoe. She'd seen that look before, the one that calculated her worth, and found it lacking, though she noticed his hand shook slightly as he checked his phone. Stress, maybe, or anger already building from something else. Whatever it was, she'd be the one paying for it. "Coffee," he said without looking up. "No, please." No acknowledgement she was human. "Of course, sir. Would you prefer the French roast or Colombian blend?" "Does it matter?" He glanced up, irritation creasing his forehead. "Just bring coffee. Can you manage that?" She brought the French roast, poured carefully into porcelain, steam rising between them. He took one sip, face twisting like she'd served poison. "This is burnt," Richard Sutherland announced loud enough that nearby tables turned. "What kind of establishment serves burnt coffee?" Amara kept her voice level. "I apologize, sir. I can brew a fresh pot, or perhaps—" "I prefer competent service," he snapped, shoving the cup so hard coffee sloshed onto white tablecloth. "But I suppose that's too much to expect from someone like you." The air changed. That phrase, "someone like you," hung there like smoke. An older couple 2 tables over exchanged glances. A businessman lowered his newspaper. "Sir, I'll get you a fresh cup immediately." But Richard wasn't finished. He leaned back, voice rising. "You people are all the same. Put you in a nice place, and you still can't get basic tasks right. This is exactly what's wrong with diversity hires." Complete silence. The kind where you can hear breathing, where every clink sounds like gunshot. Amara stood frozen, coffee pot in hand. Every instinct screamed to defend herself, to call out his racism. But she needed this job. Rent was due. Student loans weren't paying themselves. "I'll get your coffee, sir," she repeated quietly, turning toward the kitchen. "Oh, she's running away," Richard called after her, voice dripping mockery. Typical. Can't handle criticism. You know what your problem is? You think putting on an apron makes you belong here, but people like me built this city. We built this country. And you're just Mr. Sutherland. Philippe appeared from the back office, French accent sharp with tension. "Perhaps we could discuss this privately?" "Privately?" Richard stood, and Amara realized how he used his size to intimidate. "No, let's discuss this right here. I'm a regular customer. I've spent thousands. And you're telling me I can't express legitimate concerns about incompetent staff. Your concerns are noted, but your language is inappropriate." "Inappropriate." Richard's laugh was harsh. "I'll tell you what's inappropriate. Putting unqualified people in positions they can't handle because of political correctness. Look at her." He jabbed a finger toward Amara. "She probably got this job because of a quota, not because she can actually do the work." "Sir, I need to ask you to leave," Philippe said, voice harder now. "Leave." Richard pulled out his phone like a weapon. "Do you know who I am? I'm Richard Sutherland. Sutherland Properties. I own half the commercial real estate in this neighborhood, including probably this building. I can make one phone call and have your lease terminated by tomorrow." The threat hung heavy. Philippe's face went pale. Amara saw him calculating. His job, the staff's jobs, the restaurant's survival, all balanced against standing up. "Please lower your voice," Philippe managed weakly. I'll do whatever I want, Richard said, emboldened. He turned back to Amara, who had remained silent, knuckles white around the coffee pot. You should thank me. People like me give people like you opportunities you don't deserve. And this is the gratitude we get? Burnt coffee and attitude. I didn't give you attitude, sir, Amara said quietly, words escaping before she could stop them. Oh, she speaks, Richard mocked, addressing the room like his audience. Did everyone hear that? She thinks I'm the problem. Not her incompetence. Not her. Mr. Sutherland, a new voice interrupted. Cool, measured, carrying authority that made everyone turn. Marcus Chin stood in the entrance, delivery uniform on, holding a small package. But his eyes, sharp, analytical, swept the room with precision that didn't match any delivery driver she'd ever seen. Your Ring camera doorbell, Marcus said, holding up the package. Funny timing, but here we are. Richard's face flushed. Just leave it by the door. Can't you see I'm in the middle of something? I can see exactly what you're in the middle of, Marcus replied, tone unchanged. I can also see you don't recognize me without courtroom attire. Makes this more interesting. Something in his voice made Richard hesitate. What are you talking about? Marcus walked further in, setting the package down. I'm talking about the fact that you just had a very public racist meltdown in front of multiple witnesses, including someone who happens to be a civil rights attorney. The kind who specializes in workplace discrimination. The kind who records everything. He pulled out his phone. The recording app timer showed 5 minutes captured. Richard's face went from red to white. You can't, that's illegal. One-party consent in New York is perfectly legal. Marcus said mildly, I'm the one party. I consented. And before you calculate how much your lawyers cost per hour, let me introduce myself. Marcus Chun, senior partner at Chun & Associates. We've never met in person, but I've been watching your company's discriminatory practices for 2 years. Building a case. Building discrimination cases means seeing how people act when they think you're nobody. Sometimes I deliver packages. The room went silent. This is entrapment, Richard sputtered. This is you being yourself in public. Marcus corrected. I came to deliver a package. Pure coincidence. You decided to demonstrate exactly the prejudice my clients have reported for years. On camera. With witnesses. In glorious high definition. He turned to Amara. Miss, I'm sorry you experienced this. But you don't have to accept it. You have legal options. Amara stared, mind racing. I don't understand. You don't have to understand right now, Marcus said gently. Then to Richard. But you should understand this. That video is already backed up to 3 clouds. My partners are reviewing it as we speak. By tomorrow morning, every news outlet will have a copy. By afternoon, every property owner renting from Sutherland Properties will know exactly what kind of man they're doing business with. You wouldn't dare, Richard whispered. Watch me, Marcus replied. He addressed the restaurant. Anyone who witnessed this, please consider providing a statement. My card. He placed business cards on the nearest table. What happened here isn't just about one man's racism. It's about a system that protects wealth while crushing the people who actually make society function. Richard grabbed his coat, hands shaking. You can't prove my lawyers will. His voice cracked. The billionaire who commanded the room minutes ago couldn't finish a sentence. I'll sue you for everything. Please do, Marcus said calmly. I'd love to depose you under oath. Asked about the black families your company denied housing to, the Latino tenants you illegally evicted, the pattern that's about to become very, very public. Your net worth won't protect you from the truth, Mr. Sutherland. You mistake wealth for worth. And tomorrow, the whole world will see the difference. Richard shoved past him and fled. The silence that followed was different. Not shocked, expectant. Is this real? Amara asked quietly. Are you really a lawyer? Marcus handed her his card. Real, embossed, heavy stock. Very real. And that recording, it's really going everywhere. But more importantly, are you okay? Amara realized she was shaking. Not from fear anymore, but relief. Something that felt like hope. I think so. You were incredibly professional under impossible circumstances, Marcus said. That takes strength. But you shouldn't have to be that strong just to do your job. Philippe approached cautiously. Sir, I apologize for not intervening more forcefully. You should have done exactly what Miss Williams needed, Marcus agreed, which was protect her unconditionally, not calculate how much a bigot's business is worth. He turned to Amara. If you want to pursue this legally, call me. If you just want the video public to warn other workers, I'll make that happen. Or, if you need time, take it. This is your choice. The businessman who'd been pretending not to watch folded his paper with decision. We saw everything, he said firmly. We'll testify if needed. So will I. Another added. One by one, customers agreed, united by what they'd witnessed, by refusing to be silent anymore. Marcus smiled. Looks like you have a community, Miss Williams. Use it. He picked up his package. I should actually deliver this, though Mr. Sutherland might want to cancel. Hard to care about home security when your whole life's about to be exposed. As he left, Amara stood surrounded by strangers who become allies, holding the car an attorney who'd appeared like something out of a movie, and realized she wasn't alone. She'd never been alone. The shame she'd felt, the instinct to stay quiet, to accept mistreatment, it wasn't her weakness. It was their weapon, and she was done carrying it. Philippe, she said, voice steady now, I'm taking my break. And then we're talking about that raise you promised last year, and new policies for handling harassment. Because if this restaurant wants to keep me, and judging by how this played out, you might want to, things are going to change. Philippe nodded slowly. Of course. Absolutely. Amara walked to the break room, pulled out her phone, and called Marcus Chen's number. When he answered, she said 5 words that changed everything. I want to press charges. By the next morning, the video was everywhere. Richard Sutherland's face, frozen mid-rant, became a symbol of everything people were tired of tolerating. His board called emergency meetings. His investors fled. His empire, built on exploitation and protected by wealth, crumbled in 48 hours, destroyed not by elaborate legal maneuvering, but by the simple act of being recorded showing the world exactly who he was. Amara Williams went back to work the next day, not because she had to, but because she chose to. Because giving up her dreams because of someone else's hate would have been letting him win, and she was done letting people like that win. If you believe no one's wealth should shield them from consequences, that racism deserves exposure wherever it hides, share this story. Because the Marcus Chens of the world can't be everywhere, but cameras can. And courage, real courage, is showing up after the worst happens and deciding you're worth more than their judgment. That's how change happens. One recording, one voice, one refusal to stay silent at a time.